Righto, so thank you very much, everyone that is watching. I'm going to be monitoring any questions that come through on the Facebook feed. I'm just going to start off for those that didn't see. We a couple of days back had an interview which was really interesting with another three experts. Or Fabricio, who's on this call, was actually involved with that as well. We were discussing virtual reality, and it was quite an important and interesting discussion given what's happening at the moment with sort of forced lockdowns and everyone having to shift their mindset and the ways that they're going to operate, and really how we come together as humans and in business to continue pushing forward and have the results that we're looking to have. And for those that don't know me too well, I mean, I've gone on a bit of instinct with the connections. I classify myself as a sort of connector. I've been building a network of experts across the board for the last several years leading up to the mission I'm trying to develop with Unified Purpose, which is all about that collective wisdom and coming together with experts like what we've got on today to contribute to, I suppose, making the world a better place and freeing as many people as we can to be enjoying what they're doing. And that's having, I suppose, in terms of the masterminds today, we'll have the discussion and work out how individually their expertise and what they're doing with their own services and methodologies for building the right culture and community development on a couple of different levels. And then we'll try to tie that together into a few of my ideas. And then I'm sure these guys, being the experts in their fields, will have their own questions backwards and forwards with each other as well. But basically, we're going to start with a really quick introduction to everyone. So everyone knows who is involved with this call and what their sort of background is. And then in that same order, we'll delve deep into the topics in which each one of these experts is going to provide. So without further ado, we're going to start with Stephen Fabricio from Sharetree. And over to you, Steve.
Thanks, Dan, for the kind and warm words and introduction. Really loving, first of all, the stuff that you're putting together here and the types of people that you're attracting. And it's very in line and in sync with what we're about at Sharetree. So as a brief introduction, my background's around continuous improvement and engineering. And along that 20-year journey, what I discovered was at the core of every continuous improvement strategy and every successful organisation that we were working with, and was over 600 organisations we've worked with over the last 15 years, the key driver between the two things that every organisation measures, which is revenue and its conversion to profit, was this little black box in between. And the key aspect that was driving that was actually team cultures. And we're passionate about really advancing the community in a number of ways to educate people around character development, to be able to enhance team cultures in all different sectors of the industries, and also to be able to mesh together the skills and purpose-aligned initiatives of people to community advancement. So helping really this not-for-profit and charity sector by aligning the skills of people. And we're doing that with corporates, for-profit entities. We're doing that also with schools, so building character programs within schools and school cultures that are centered around values to help advance the child. We're very passionate about that space. Children, for instance, academia for us is actually secondary to character development, because if the character development is enhanced for the children, then we see greater outcomes in academia, and we've got that proven by science. And the last part is around the community advancement and getting everyone working in a better harmony with what we need for a community. So, and at the center of that sits each individual and their own evolution journey.
You can, I watched your video yesterday on the 7 layers of team culture, and I think that's still what's behind you right now. The floor is yours, mate. It's if you can introduce and connect to what we're talking about here as best as what you feel fit, that's much appreciated, Steve.
No, thanks, Dan. What we found over time, I'm a person that's passionate about fixing things and understanding how things work. It's a theme of my life, from working on cars and building engineering projects and understanding eventually how whole processes work, and then how whole organizations work, and now looking at how our whole community works. So what I found along that journey is that each of us are actually going through an evolution cycle. And I wanted to understand, well, what is that and why is it different for each of us? And as each of us evolve, we have a primary lens that we look through into life. All of our 7 layers are evolving at any point in time, but there's predominantly one particular frame and one lens that we're looking through at any point of time that's helping with our human evolution. So those 7 lenses are a need for security and safety as a base lens. The next level is a need for connection. And then the next level up from that is a need for achievement and accomplishment, our willpower. And the next level up from that is our need to be valued and loved and to give love. Our next level up from that is the ability to live in one's truth and express one's truth. And then we have another level above that, which is about our evolution, our intellect, our growth. And then our highest level is our highest sense of purpose and our highest sense of meaning, which is why I love all the work you're doing and I'm passionate about supporting that. What sits at the core that we discovered of every person is the heart. So I've got 2 children, they're both IVF. And what was a beautiful process to witness was when my children shifted from the state of being cells that were dividing, the first point when they spring to life is very, very significant and something that I'm very privileged to have witnessed. And it's right in the center of a cluster of 8 cells. There is a little beating organism right in the center that brings them to life. And I believe that it's the point where consciousness comes to life. And if you look at what that actual cell evolves into later on, it's the heart. It's not the brain. It's not any other organs. It's actually the heart. And this is where our consciousness resides, in my belief. So what we found through the journey and how we apply that to a corporate space is the cultures that we see thrive most have a foundation of security. They are heart-centric and they are drawn by purpose, higher purpose. And those cultures are the cultures that thrive, whether they be in a school, a corporate context, or a community organization. So what we did was work with particularly 47 organizations over a 10-year period. My background's in Lean and Six Sigma. My left brain, statistics and analytics, wants to understand the meaning of things. I'm trying to learn to let go of that a little bit more and go more with my feeling and instinct. But it is there nevertheless. And I think it's a good breakthrough for people to be able to understand, this grander aspect of all humanity and ourselves. So what we studied on those 47 companies were the most shifted sustainable growth and the least shifted sustainable growth. And we looked at 9 different inputs to those organizations. What we found was only 2 things that actually mattered. Number 1 was the mindset of leadership. As Henry Ford says, what you believe will become. If you believe it can't, if you believe it can, you're right in either instance. And the second one was team culture. Now, leadership mindset was a straight correlation. Nothing else influenced it. And team culture was almost a straight correlation with one little kink in it. And that kink was leadership mindset. So we saw in every instance that the leaders could rise a team culture and rise to sustain success and growth. And in some instances, the culture could hold in check an organization. But if the leadership mindset ultimately wasn't there, over time, it would diminish. So we didn't leave that to chance anymore. And our group thought it was so important that we put that knowledge into a charitable entity. We don't want that knowledge ever captured by another organization as a profit entity. We want that knowledge to become community knowledge and to use that through technology to help it spread. So those 7 layers that I spoke about before transcend into a team culture. When you think about a team, it's nothing but the collective character of its people. And it's nothing but the lens that each of us look through at a certain point in time. So that collective lens of our team and the collective character strengths of our team form the culture. And this is why cultures are sometimes a moving target. And we seek to take out the mystery from that and provide every organization and every individual absolute clarity about where they are, how they contribute, and what they can do to grow their culture and character over time. So in a corporate sense or a team culture, the 7 layers come out of need. So I need to feel safe. I need to feel supported. I need to feel a sense of achievement. I need to feel valued. I need to feel free. I need to feel evolved. And I need to feel a sense of meaning and purpose. So what we do is we assess the organization, and then we look at 5 levers that influence those 7 layers across the organization. And that's the mindset of the entire team, the leadership influence, and that has a 5 times impact. So knowing that prior research, any leader, whether it's a positive mindset or a negative mindset, will have a 5 times ripple. And then we tested that another 3 times afterwards, just to make sure that it was absolutely right. You know, I like precision. That's my background in Lean and Six Sigma. So I wanted to make sure that if we're going to give this information to people, it's absolutely precise and right. And the way we tested that afterwards, we have digital trees where people do gratitude exchange on a daily basis. So we've built that in a free app so everyone can get the advantage of gratitude and build workplace cultures that are centered around an exchange of character strengths acknowledged for real things in action. What we did with those extra 3 tests is that we asked the leaders within those cultures, at a point when the cultures were thriving through acknowledgements of gratitude, we asked the leaders to strategically stop acknowledging. And what we saw within just 2 months, every one of those cultures, the gratitude exchange tree went to sleep. And then we asked the leaders, without the teams knowing, to start acknowledging again. And then within a month, the tree was flourishing. So that's the impact that leaders have. And leaders that lead teams need to know how vitally important it is that they hold the right mindset and they're centered in their heart to be able to activate a team and inspire purpose.
So, I love that. I love all of it. If you go through right now and just go to review the character cards, Sharetree, the link's right there. Just go to, you can click on it if you've got this PDF or it's in the page here. So what I want you to do though is pick 3 of the, what you do is you pick 3 core character strength cards, which is your community culture, whether or your business culture. I say community because it's like a movement that you're going to have, or that we have with our Facebook group and the whole, it's a collective here, yeah? Unified purpose. So what we have is unity, of course, purposefulness, and innovation. There are our 3 core community systems, and that's really what this is built around, like unity, working together, purposefulness, having more than just the look and, you know, wanting money from all this. There's more purpose behind what we're doing. We're very structured, and, you know, this program's designed a way to give you purpose and step-by-steps what to do. And we're innovation, because if we're not innovating, then, you know, you're out of business. So long story short, so we always need to have that creative mindset, as I've talked about already. Now, what are the sort of people, the character strengths and the values that we want to have with people that join this community? Now, it doesn't mean they have to have that, but there is also going to be information and systems that we have in this program to help people with leadership, with vision, with courage, with not having to worry about business failing, that sort of stuff. Humanity, you know, thinking we are all connected. There's so many people dissatisfied and working jobs they don't want, struggling if they get into business. A lot of noise out there. There's a lot of change and fear and media and all that crap. So, you know, thinking back to trying to keep that balance in, you know, humanity, that we're all people at the end of the day. And yeah, we all make mistakes. We're not perfect. No one is. We've got strengths, weaknesses. So, you know, what you do is, these are ours, and we'll go through more of this with another video that is either going to be in here by the time you're watching this, or it won't be far away. But yeah, you need to select 3 that you're going to build your culture around with the character cards. And then you need to pick 4 that are going to be the character strengths of people that are participating in your movement, in your community, in your business. Okay, so go back to sharetree.org/character-cards and go and do this now. Now, what I'd love for you to do is the same as what I've done. Just copy and paste or write them all down if you'd like. But share with us in the group. Like, either, yes, share with us or share with your own group. But, you know, let's get it out there. Get it out into the universe and let us know. What are the, if you're to build your business, or you already got a business, you want to improve the culture, and you want to make sure you've got the right people in terms of their values and characters in your organization, then what are the 3 core for the culture? What are the 4 character strength cards for people strengths being in your organization? So please share on the Facebook group. Let us know what you're thinking, what you've selected, and I look forward to giving you more value when I get Steve on for an interview from Sharetree. I'd be really keen to, over time, I don't know what your plans are and whatnot, but in terms of the tree, you know, connecting that into like the mastermind type principles, but I'm focused on myself with the knowledge business and doing all the sales funnels and doing that in a way where people can get started and dip their toe in the water and obtaining different knowledge that they need from different experts, and then scale that up into, you know, paying for and getting involved further with the services that individual experts provide. But there's that collective that we can tap into. So how do we, there's that contribution type people just need, and we give them time. Like one of my major drivers is to, like I said on the interview the other day, I raised 800 grand for my investment fintech. I think it was our conversation offline, Brian, you and I, you know, it was a hard process, and to build anything substantial, you know, you really got to put yourself out there, and usually your health and other things suffer because you've got to go all in and what have you. And even in online business, it's most people that are getting going struggle with the technology. So I'm really keen as a collective over time to bring this all together and provide a platform from within this that, and I think individually we'll be doing our own things, but I'm really here to, really keen to hear from yourself, Steve, about your thoughts on what you've just heard from Fabricio and Bryant, and how we could extend and work and support your mission and bring that together to help all of us and everyone else at the same time, man.
Wow. Fabrizio and Brian, just amazingly aligned perspectives, but, you know, founded in such wisdom. I really love the stuff that you guys are talking about. We're looking in the same sort of space. And for us, we've been looking at the small in order to understand the big. And we're talking about a lot of big picture things here. And when I'm talking about, you know, big picture, I'm talking about humanity as a collective superorganism operating as one creature that's interconnected, but also parts. But if we look at that in a micro scale, all you need to do is go out to some of these tribes that are still operating under biological principles that haven't been infiltrated yet by the technology and the monetary system. And what we see when we look at those tribes is a natural order and a natural ecosystem that evolves based on each person's stage of their own evolution. If you break that down, you'll see that there's children in the community. And what happens during the day is that the parents go out to hunt and gather while the children sit with the community elders, and the knowledge is transferred based on these people that have carried the wisdom. The community elders are those that have acquired this wisdom over time, and their natural lens that they're in is contribution to give back to the community. It somewhat saddens my heart to see what's breaking down in our own systems, because at least in the developed world, we take a lot of these elders, and because they're not tapped into technology, we stuff them away in elderly homes, and we've got all of these, you know, little circular pockets of absolute wisdom that is not being integrated back into society and given to the new generations. So one of the projects we're looking at doing is actually character aligning people out of aged care facilities to people in high schools, and once their characters are matched, letting them become a mentor. And that's why I love the stuff you were talking about, Brian. And we're hoping to do that through a platform. So there's safety in that. There's a safe place for them to communicate, and it's character matched. Because if I'm high on drive and high on wisdom, I want to connect with someone that's been through that same cycle, and they will have stories and experiences that they can share with me to help my own evolution and inspire me on my journey. Now, a lot of people say, well, that should be the school teacher, or that should be your boss, or that should be your parent. But there's a reason why sometimes you don't share those deepest insights with those people out of fear of judgment, and we seek to break that down. So when we look at the small into the big, what we noticed is the main breakdown of the ecosystem is somewhat to do with the monetary system. The monetary system, we feel, has created an unfair distribution based on contribution. The idealistic state, which I wholeheartedly believe we can get to, is that every single person lives out of a point of purpose, you know, where the basic needs are fulfilled, and they're trialing this in Scandinavia at the moment with amazing results. So every person's fundamental needs, the 4 base aspects of our own evolution are fulfilled. So we get to live in these higher aspects of ourselves, to live out of our truth, to evolve to our highest capacity and live by purpose. Now, the beautiful thing right here, you can see that each of us are actually all unified, yet we're all working on individual components contributing to the whole. And that's the natural order of humanity. If you let go of the structure and control that's needed and let people on a value-based system be connected and acknowledged for their contribution. We love capitalism, but we believe the cap should be put back into capitalism. It was there originally, and the first people that reached that ceiling cleared it out, so that they could have more. And the current ratio of income distribution across the planet is 276 to 1. 276 to 1. There doesn't have to be complete equality. Some people work harder, some work smarter, some inherit money, but there is so much as enough. When I over leverage people that I can't see, feel, and touch, to the point that at the detriment of their own education and at the detriment of their own ability to live out of purpose, it doesn't just stifle them, it stifles me, because of the whole of humanity's evolution is actually being quenched and slowed down, and our potential is much greater than that. So yeah, you're touching on a topic I'm really passionate about. We've got some exciting conversations happening at the moment with universities. They're looking to do a value of exchange based on the leaves within our Sharetree system being accredited to points. So every act of community and service and uplifting character building activity across the Sharetree network, we're going to aggregate these points and exchange them for education. So I'd love to talk to you more about that, Fabrizio. We've also got fruits within our system where people do acts of volunteering into the community, planting the seed of change, and it's acknowledged by a community organisation once that contribution is completed. So this links into also what you're talking about, Bryant, where there's an exchange, and if we had a blockchain to manage that, that would be really powerful as well. Then you have all of these points that are based on character contribution to the community, and you exchange those for education as a bartering type system. So any person that is contributing to the community is then uplifted with opportunities so they can advance their evolution and advance their contribution back to community. So we then idolize people that are contributing to the superorganism as opposed to those that are hoarding wealth. I might be considered extremely idealistic, but I already see the shifts happening and I'm excited about it.
I'm really excited that, as you say, we've got individual paths, but it seems a really good mesh here that's happening, and I look forward to continuing to connect more people that can contribute to make this happen. And I think the opportunities for that change is definitely there with just what we've got here, but bringing more people in. So thank you very much for joining and providing that value, and I look forward to keeping this going.
No, thank you, Dan, for walking the talk and being the change we need to see in the world and actually creating this superorganism. So yeah, it's a really inspiring thing that you're doing, and keep up the work. And any way we can support you, please let us know.
Thank you very much, Steve.